Hello everyone, I'm Parker, a second-year International Culinary Arts student at IPMI Chennai. I've always been fascinated by cruises and how life would be like working in a cruise. In this video, I'd like to share a comprehensive list of information about working on a cruise for all of you hospitality students who are thinking about your first job and making plans for your career. First things first, what is the entry requirement to work in a cruise? Most prominent cruise liners require 1 to 2 years of relevant experience in a 4 or a 5-star hotel or an established restaurant with a high-paced job, or a prior relevant cruise ship experience. So, you'll have to require at least 1 year of experience on land in a hotel or a well-established restaurant before you can apply for a cruise. A very high fluency of English language is also mandatory, especially so for guest-facing hospitality roles. To work in the kitchen of a cruise ship, a minimum requirement of a culinary diploma and knowledge in international cuisine is vital. Your educational qualification and other relevant experience will also affect your pay range as you start as a commie in a cruise kitchen. Now, let's talk about the mandatory documents you need to prepare for your cruise ship application. First, a police clearance. Cruise ships require a police clearance from your country of residence. However, depending on the cruise and their place of port, some countries may require additional documentation which the cruise line will typically provide guidance for. Second, passport and visa. Most cruise lines indicate on their website employment page that crew members must have a passport that is valid for at least 1 year from the date they join the ship. That is, while employed, your passport needs to be valid for at least 1 year when you board a ship. Depending on the cruise line you work for and the ship's itinerary, the cruise lines will ask you to apply for relevant visas. For example, some US cruise liners require all their employees to have a US C1B visa, which is a crew member transit visa to get down on ports for transiting purposes. Third, a medical certificate is mandatory at the beginning of your career in cruise lines. Different cruise lines may have periodic continual medical certification requirements, or whenever you start a new contract with a ship, to certify you're medically fit to work in the seas. And finally, the fourth, Seaman's Book, otherwise called as the Continuous Discharge Certificate in India. It is a passport of sorts which is required by potential employers, and is a standard practice of documentation required to travel international waters. It also holds your record and employment and career progression. You can apply for a Seaman's Book with your passport, medical certificate and a basic STCW certificate, which is a course comprising of first aid, fire prevention, personal survival techniques and security training. The cost of STCW ranges between 10 and 20,000 rupees. The CEC certification in India, the application will cost you 700 rupees. Now, let's talk about employment contract, working hours and free time. You're generally contracted for a period between 4 to 10 months, typically 8 months, and receive approximately 60 days of unpaid holiday. Working in a cruise ship is no easy job. You should look forward to working really long hours. But F&B personnel, depending on their job role, they may work anywhere between 8 to 12 hours a day with breaks in between. While some job roles like housekeeping would be continuous work with very short breaks in between. Kitchen staff generally work in the main kitchen galley, which serves buffet, pre-plated food and serves the different dining halls in the cruise for breakfast, dinner and lunch. Some cruises have separate kitchen for specialty restaurants. You're typically in charge of 1 or 2 items that you need to handle and manage on your own in bulk. You generally start at 7 in the morning and end at 9 in the evening, and you get 2 hours of block break in between. So, why would you want to work on a cruise? You get to see destinations, you get to meet new people from different nationalities, you earn handsomely working for just 6 to 8 months. You don't have much expense while employed, as your food and accommodations are taken care of. The only expense that you may have is for Wi-Fi and alcohol. I hope this video helps a little in deciding your first steps in building your career. Good luck.